This is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me here to break down a thriller on Sunday afternoon as the San Diego Chargers traveled to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. This was a really good football game between two teams that are probably a little bit better than we might have anticipated coming into this season. San Diego went on the road last week and beat the Philadelphia Eagles at their own game, outscoring them at the link, and the Tennessee Titans easily could have come into this game at 2-0, probably should have come into this game at 2-0. Nonetheless, they're 1-1 and they're hungry, looking for a win at home. And so I looked at this matchup and I felt like the Tennessee Titans were going to win this game because of their defense. This is a really good defensive football team. And what I noticed in this game right away is that the demeanor of this team has changed since Bernard Pollard has joined this football team. Bernard Pollard is a mean football player. and what I mean by that is he plays angry. He's always mad all the time on the football field, and he's looking to inflict pain on the opposing team and their players. And in this game, I saw a nasty streak in this Tennessee Titans team. It seems like he's rubbing off on the rest of this defense. They're just mean for no reason. And it reminds me of the Jeff Fisher days when this defense had an edge to it, where it was just nasty and you knew you were in a fight after you finished the game against the Tennessee Titans. They're getting back to that on the defensive side of the football. Guys are just doing extra things and hitting a little harder, and they're chippy. This was a chippy game, and these aren't rivals. San Diego and Tennessee, they don't go way back. These are two teams that don't have that much history between them, yet these two teams, and there were a lot of guys in each other's face. It was a lot of chippiness in this game, and they were doing extra things during the play, after the play, and it's just that edge that you see with this Tennessee Titans team. It's a little different, and I think it's something that could be beneficial for them because they have that edge about them, especially on the defensive side of the football. Something else that I noticed right away, Kenny Britt is on borrowed time in Tennessee. I think his time will be up at the end of the season. He dropped the first play of the game. He dropped the football, and the crowd let him have it. And that is an indication to me that this crowd has just about seen enough of Kenny Britt. If he's not going to make plays, he's not going to be around in Tennessee. And he dropped the football. He did not make any plays in this football game. They tried to get him involved right away, and he did not help his cause. They threw him a couple of other passes, but he did not make any plays in this game, got dumped on his head at one point. Kenny Britt isn't doing himself any favors in Tennessee right now. But let's talk about Jake Locker, because I haven't been that big of a Jake Locker supporter, but I haven't been as down on him as the rest of those quarterbacks that came out in that draft. I thought of the Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert, Jake Locker connection, he was the best of that group, and he's starting to show what he can do. And remember, keep in mind, this guy had some comebacks in his rookie season, but he couldn't come back all the way. He'd bring the team back, get all the way down the field, but couldn't close the show. Jake Locker has it, but you have to get it out of him. And I just want to see consistent play from Jake Locker, and you're starting to see it. You're seeing him eliminate the turnovers. You're seeing him use his legs when it is there. He's an athletic quarterback. He needs to use his legs when it is necessary, when it is available. He did that in this game. I thought one of his better games in his career to this point was a game against the Indianapolis Colts in Indy, or at least the first half of that game. He ran the football. He threw the football very effectively. He's a guy that when he has it going, using his legs and throwing the football, he's a dangerous guy. He's a triple threat because he's more athletic than people give him credit for. He can throw the football. He can make things happen, and he puts pressure on the defense when he is able to be accurate in the pocket. And that was one of the knocks on him coming out of college, is that, hey, this guy is excellent on the run. He can move. He's athletic, but he's got some work to do in the pocket. And so he's getting better. You can see it. He's more accurate. He worked on his short passing game. Now I want to see him push the ball down the field. Well, he pushed the ball down the field in this game. And you could argue that Justin Hunter could have came up with another catch down the field. And so he's doing some things that is really starting to impress me. He's not turning it over. That was number one for me. That was the first thing that I wanted to see him improve on, was the turnovers. Don't turn it over. Take care of the football. And he's done that in these first 3 games. And now he's starting to push the football down the field. And that's the second thing I was looking for. Okay, I know you can nickel and dime the defense. Now I need to see you stretch the field a little bit. Make teams respect you and the ability to throw the football down the field. I saw that in this game. Now you just need to get Kendall Wright the football down the field. And if you can start stretching the defense with other guys other than Justin Hunter and other than the occasional shot to Kenny Britt, then you might have something, because Nate Washington can stretch the field. And we know that Kendall Wright can stretch the field. And so you've got some guys that can run. Nate Washington was excellent in this football game, by the way. I thought that he had a tremendous football game. And they just had a really good showing on the offensive side of the football, did the Tennessee Titans. Very impressed with what they were able to accomplish offensively. And you look at this defense, they played solid. San Diego is no slouch on the offensive side of the football, and they were able to hold them down. The Chargers had scored 28 points or more in their first 2 contests, and so for them to hold them down, and I expected them to. I said that this wouldn't be a game where San Diego was going to score 30 points, and they held them down, did the Tennessee Titans. But you look at it from the San Diego Chargers perspective, and I'm impressed with this team. I am way more impressed with this team than I thought I would be at this juncture of the season. They've come out, they've played some good offense, they've done some things to really give themselves a chance in just about every football game. They should have won that first game against Houston. They blew that one. They won against Philadelphia on the road. They had opportunities to win this game here, and they blew it. They just don't know how to close out teams quite yet. But this team is better offensively than I thought they were going to be. Antonio Gates is back. That is so refreshing to see if you're a San Diego Chargers fan. I'm just a football fan in general, and it's good to see Antonio Gates back. He's making one-hand stabs. He's beating defenders. He's getting open. He's running. He just looks spry. He just looks like the Antonio Gates of old. And Phillip Rivers is playing better football. I think he's realized that he didn't have to win the game by himself. He's got a supporting cast, guys that he can get the football to. And Danny Woodhead makes a huge difference on this offense. He's been missing Darren Sproles since he left. Now he has Darren Sproles back in the form of Danny Woodhead. That was a huge acquisition on the offensive side of the football for the San Diego Chargers. He's really been playing good football for them, and that's a comfort blanket for Phillip Rivers. He knows he can check it down to Danny Woodhead, and he can hand it off to him. I think they need to run the football with him a little bit more, too. I thought he had some success running the football in this game. But all in all, this thing came down to a couple of mistakes and the Tennessee Titans taking advantage of a couple of mistakes. Look, you want to learn how to close out games, San Diego? Make the plays when they're there to be made. Delaney Walker had the football tip off of his hands in the later stages of this football game. And look, Marcus Gilchrist has to come up with that football. You have to catch that football. That ball cannot hit the ground. You catch that pick, this game is over. And you win, you go home, you escape with the victory. Instead, you let the ball hit the ground. 2 plays later, Justin Hunter is in the end zone on a beautiful throw from Jake Locker. And I tell you what, this Tennessee Titans team, they believe. I mean, this man marched his team down the field about 94 yards with no timeouts and about 2 minutes and 4 seconds left on the clock. And he got it done. Jake Locker is finding his footing in the National Football League. He's getting it done. This was an impressive victory by the Tennessee Titans as they get it done in this football game. 20-17. Huge play by Justin Hunter at the end of the football game. He's going to be a special one if he can stay healthy. He's got some size. He can jump. He can run. He's got all the intangibles, all the things you look for in a go-to receiver. And so that spells trouble for Kenny Britt and his longevity on this roster. But What a win for the Tennessee Titans. And if you're the San Diego Chargers, another demoralizing loss, a game that you had and you let slip through your fingers in the latter stages of the game. You could easily be 3-0 in this season because you do not know how to close out teams. You are 1-2. And so big win for the Titans. They go to 2-1 and a three-way tie atop the AFC South Division. Meanwhile, the San Diego Chargers dropped to 1-2, and they had their opportunities. They let them slip away. They do not come away with the victory. And so if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.
In the lab